past few webcasts.
Sure. Well, the project is, as John and Ilo were describing a minute ago, is to create sort of a game that could be used as kind of a showpiece on the Build It Yourself website. Perhaps one of many games eventually. So the project is a trivia game. You answer trivia questions, you get points, and this is part of sort of an effort to learn various web technologies, in particular CSS, and we've been learning about using less and using Bootstrap to sort of make our CSS styling more organized and easier to maintain and easier to create in the first place. So what we did last week is we, if I recall right, Isla, we had Isla was sharing her screen and we were sort of beginning to add some sort of Bootstrap responsive styling using Bootstrap, and first of all, working off of some code that Daniel, who isn't here yet this morning, had created. So now, Isla, as I recall, we had made some edits to those files, and I think we were about to commit those changes to the GitHub repository, but I don't actually see those changes on GitHub. I wonder if we successfully did commit those, or it doesn't look like we successfully committed those changes. Do you still have those files?
We did them. They're on the in history. They're on there.
They are.
Yeah, okay. Edited style of the answers, and we employed responsive design for the answers. That's what we titled it and like described it as. But it's on mine.
Okay. Let's see. I wonder, because I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that on the first of all on my machine or on the GitHub site. I wonder if we synced your changes.
Oh no. Should we sync them?
Yeah. Why don't we try that? Is it clear where on GitHub you go to sync your changes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just did it. I think that was the problem because it said unsync. No, it said like there was unsynced commits.
Great, perfect. I see it. I see it now on GitHub. Why don't I share my screen real quick and I'll show everyone what we're looking at on GitHub. Okay, here. This is the. Let me go back a second to the project. This is the GitHub repository for our project, and I will post this link in the chat box for the new folks. There we go. And in fact, we can look at, we can click this button here to see all the past commits. Here is one that I just put in this morning, where we have a couple edits to the PHP files. We'll do more of that. We'll do more with the PHP a little bit later. I know the focus of our series is more on the front end, on the CSS and styling. And then here is what Isla just sent in, and we can have a look at kind of what we started to do last week. Daniel's initial code kind of had some of the sort of your standard Bootstrap classes but wasn't really using them to create a sort of a column or a grid layout. Kind of like what we're looking for now. And so here's here's the changes that Isla made, where we have right now we just have these three. Each one of these is one of the possible answers for our trivia question, and they each for screens that are medium size. If you can see that. If that's
Excuse
not
me,
too
Jacob,
small.
are you
Yep.
able to view the text a little bit larger? It's a
Yeah,
little
let's see
difficult.
if I can. There we go.
There you go.
Let's see
Fantastic.
if I can get that a little bit bigger.
Fantastic. Much better, Jacob. Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, so this these are bootstrap grid classes. This one means that for screens that are medium size or larger, this div will take up 4 out of 12 columns, so that's one third. And we applied that to all three of these divs, and we'll one of the next steps, I think, on our agenda is to, I think, improve on this design by using less rather than just plain CSS, so that this will become more maintainable, and actually I think we'll not require quite so many CSS classes here, because we'll be able to leverage less to make this more concise. Okay, so that's what we did last week. And again, since Isla and Isla and I both have commits here just within the last few minutes, it would be great if those of us that are playing along would go ahead and get the latest changes using GitHub. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. This is my desktop client for GitHub, and I'm going to click sync. And now I got Isla's latest changes. Okay. So I think what we would like to do now, well, first of all, let's see, if other interns, so it looks like we lost Sam. Maybe he'll be back. He was having technical problems. He might be back in a minute. Let's see, we've got Isla and David. David, do you have a copy of this GitHub repository on your machine? Or do you have GitHub installed in the first place? Your microphone is off if you're trying to talk.
Hello.
Hi, now we can hear you.
All right. So I'm on my school loaner computer because that's the only one that works with the WebEx meeting center.
Mm-hmm.
So I have nothing. I have no GitHub whatsoever because GitHub is dangerous to society and my computer.
Oh, they don't let you. They're not going to let you install anything new on there.
Nope. So I might be able to get it on my other computer, but
okay. Well, here's well, yeah. I mean, I suppose you could be kind of working on 2 computers at once, but I think maybe a better idea is if you could go. Well, I'll. Oh, this looks like it's still the last thing in the chat box. Is what you can do is you can even if we don't have the fancy GitHub setup, you can go here to download zip.
Whoa, that worked.
Yeah, and you can at least download the code, even though you won't be able to kind of upload changes. Hi, Daniel. Thanks for joining. So David, you probably, I guess you may not have what do I want to say? WAMP or MAMP or a server then on that machine either? Or,
Nope.
Okay. Okay, it could be a little difficult then. That's one of the difficulties always with these webcasts is that we all have kind of different setups, different development environments. If it's at all possible, it would be great in the future if we could have machines that as much as possible, if we could have machines that have sort of a Windows, or I'm sorry, WAMP or MAMP, or even a just any sort of server that can run PHP code, which is what this is built on.
We're working on getting a new PC laptop.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so on our to-do list, so we have some things we'd like to do with our front end with styling, to kind of make the site. Let me see if I can run the code. There we go. So we have some stuff we'd like to do with the styling here with these answers. We'd like to, I think, add colors and maybe change, the exact way that these are spaced out. I think it would be a good exercise to try adding a fourth answer, just so that we get practice, kind of editing. For those of us that don't have as much experience with all the technologies that are involved there. And that'd be a good simple task to try out. And then there's some edits that I think we may want to make to some of the underlying JavaScript code here that Daniel has written. It's pretty good, but we can always we can find a couple teaching moments on things to improve. And the same is true for the back end for PHP. The PHP code that Daniel has written. Daniel, if you just joined, Isla and I both committed a couple small changes to the GitHub repository. So those are out there if you want to sync those changes.
Yeah, I will. Thanks.
Okay, great. So here's here's my thought. Let's really quickly, while we have I have this this PHP code pulled up in NetBeans. Pull this over. This is I have a couple of the PHP files that Daniel had put together. There's one thing a couple things I want to look at here, and then maybe, Daniel, could we give you the task of updating these files after we kind of show what we want updated? Here's what's going on in this file. It looks like this is we have a form. I think this is actually this page. This create HTML that Daniel put together, and this is sort of a form to fill out to add a new question to the trivia game. Good idea from Daniel to put that together. This is a PHP file that is working behind the scenes to make that happen. And so there are two kind of updates that I think we would like to see on this file. One of them is updating from the old MySQL extension for PHP. That's all these functions that say MySQL _, and updating those to use the MySQLi extension, which is sort of the newer and new and improved way to use MySQL with PHP. And I will paste that this documentation here into the chat. The quick start guide here, I think, will kind of give show you everything that we need to know. So the beginning of the quick start guide here shows you, in many cases there's just a couple small changes where you add an I, and sometimes the exact parameters that you're using in these functions are a little bit different. You can add the database to the MySQLi connect function, and then that kind of this connection variable gets passed into the connection object gets passed into the MySQLi query function. So you can see where we can do that a little bit differently here, and so that should be. I think you should be able to. If you have questions, go ahead and let me know. I think we should be able to sort of work off of the documentation there to make that update. Second thing I wanted to talk about was something called SQL injection. And this is a good example of what we call a SQL injection vulnerability. So what we're doing right here, what we have right here is we're creating a SQL query, and in order to sort of add the values that we're inserting into the database, we are concatenating strings. We are taking multiple strings and putting them together. Each of these variables is a string. The period is how you concatenate strings in PHP. And these variables are all coming directly from the post data this is the form data. Here's the issue with that setup, and I realized that this particular page is something that would ideally not be available publicly anyway, but this is just a good to get in the habit of avoiding this sort of thing. The trouble is that if when you're creating SQL queries kind of by string concatenation this way, a malicious, if you have an evil hacker, what they can do is they can sort of they can add some stuff to this variable that you're just reading right from them from the form data, and do some bad stuff to your database. Like this insert into statement, they can sort of end that statement and begin another statement. So you have this values and the parentheses and a quotation mark, and normally, okay, there's an end quotation mark, and then eventually a close parentheses. Well, what a hacker could do is they could take this this string, and they could, inside of it, they can put a quotation mark and a close parentheses and a semicolon, and then a whole another SQL statement. And there's a famous comic that everyone always shows when they talk about SQL injection. And here the story is that someone basically did a SQL injection attack at this school where he added a quotation mark, a parentheses, a semicolon to end a previous SQL statement, and then did a drop table SQL statement, and that would have deleted all of that entire table in the database. So what do we do to prevent against this? What we can do is do what's called a prepared statement. This is the best way, I think. One of the kind of sort of in olden times, we would do something called MySQL real escape string. We use that function. And that would do is that would escape or sanitize sort of this input so that if there was a quotation mark or parentheses in there, it would be escaped. We call it escaped, so the SQL wouldn't see that as sort of the end of a SQL query. It would see that as an actual like quotation mark character. So that's sort of the old way to do that. Kind of the preferred way now is to do what's called a prepared statement. So that way, if you just do all your SQL queries as prepared statements, at least the ones where you have user input, and there's examples on this page. I'll post this link. Actually, there was maybe there's a better example here on this. Better example over here. I'll post that in the chat. That link in the chat box. Okay. Basically, the way prepared statements work is first you write your query, and for PHP we just leave quotation marks where you have stuff that would be user input, and then you call this bind param function, and in the bind param we'll have the four. Well, in this case, there are 4 different values. How many are we going to have? We're going to have one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll actually have like 6 quotation marks, and then we'll call bind param, and we'll put in all 6 of the of these variables, and this first argument just says what sort of variables they are. Are they strings? Are they numbers? In this case, D is for decimal. Are they integers? That would be an I for integer. Here we'll just, I think, if I remember right, all of these are just going to be strings. So it'll just be all S's here in that first parameter. Anyway, this there's the explanation of what the different characters mean there. So those are the 2 big changes we want to make to our PHP files today. Does that make sense, Daniel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Do you think you'd be comfortable kind of taking that on?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's so there's some stuff for the back end to work on. Let's talk about the front end, and then maybe we can pass the ball off to one of you guys as you're making the changes here. So let's look at index.html. In fact, we can look at it in the browser. Do I still have it? Here it is. Okay. So see how we kind of started to add a grid layout here. Let's try. Let me think here. Maybe for starters, why don't we first try to add some colors to these three answers. We can give them all different colors, maybe. And then I think what we'd like to do is we'd like to create a right now we have a CSS file and a bunch of these Bootstrap classes. And I think we'd like to move away from having a .css file and use less. And we'll see how we can kind of improve this, improve our design here if we use less. So if you recall, with less, we can add this script tag here to get the less code from CDN. Again, that means we don't have to download it onto our own computer. That the end user will just hit this, just hit Cloudflare here, who provides this service for us. And then what we'll do is we will link in a less file, and let's here's an example again from their site. On how to sort of link in a less style sheet. And I'm going to add a less file here. Okay. There we go. Okay, there's a styles.less. I don't have anything in here just yet. Let's see. It looks like my NetBeans has a kind of a cool thing where I can automatically compile my less. We'll talk about that later. I'm not going to use that right now since you guys might not be using the same IDE here. Okay, so for starters, just to get this less file started, I'm going to copy over oops. I'm going to copy over the code that we had in style.css. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of style.css so that we're just using our less file instead. Okay, now let's see. Whoops. I think I put this in the CSS folder. There we go. Okay, and so that looks like that's working. I'm going to go ahead and go into GitHub, and let's see. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I did that kind of as a demonstration of MySQL real escape string. I'm not going to commit that change. But the index I added those things. I added styles.less, and I deleted. You can see this is highlighted red. I deleted style.css. So I'm going to go ahead and commit that change and sync. And we'll give that a second. And if we look again on the GitHub website, there it is. So you should be able to, I think Isla, you should be able to sync that on your machine.
Yeah, I just did it.
Cool. And now David, if you want to play along as well, I think this is kind of set up so that even if you don't have the PHP running, you can still at least kind of see the front page with the style. So you could try pulling up the index.html and just see the style, and we can make edits to the style. So let's see, Isla, if I pass the ball to you, you think, since you have that up already, do you think we could start making some more edits to the style?
Yeah.
Okay. Pass the ball to you. Why don't we start out with maybe adding some color to the answers.
Okay, so I did this. I put it on Text Wrangler, and I opened up the index.html. Is that the right one, or which one do you want me to?
Yep. That's the right one.
All right.
Cool. Okay, so there's our answers. So here's a thought. What if we gave a class to each of these? Right now we have these divs that just have the column medium 4 class that are containing these answers.
Mm-hmm.
What if we gave each of those divs a class of like answer container, something like that, so that we could style each of these easily with CSS.
Okay, where should I put it?
So when we want to give something multiple classes, we can just put like a space between each of the classes. So so inside those quotation marks, we're just going to add another class, and we can just give the same class to each one of those.
Just like this?
No, so there's already a class. Yeah, there's already a class attribute, so we'll just add more classes to that.
I can do that.
Let's see. So it'll be like. Let me put something in the chat box here.
Okay.
So you can just add another class just by putting a space after the previous class.
Okay. Oh, so right here, and that so I wouldn't write class again, or I would?
You would not. Yeah, you don't write class twice. It's just you write class once.
And I just do the answer container.
Yeah, but you want to put it inside the quotation mark there.
Okay. All right. Did it with all of them?
Yep, I think we do want all of them there. Okay, so that gives us a class that we can use to select with a selector in our less file. Could we open up the less file? That should be.
Should it be in the DIY
should-
trivia folder?
Yeah, it's I think it's under the CSS folder that should be kind of in the same directory as the index file.
No, which one would be under?
It would be under CSS, I believe.
It doesn't open up on this though.
Huh. That's odd that it doesn't want to.
I'll try doing something else. Let me
Open
try
there.
going to it. I have it up. See, yeah, it's not letting me open it at all.
Huh. That's odd. So if you go to open with and it doesn't give you an option, what about the other option?
App Store, but like.
What about other? Like what happened? Can we?
None
Is
of.
that gonna be difficult to find text wrangler there?
I can search it. Yeah, it's like not. Text wrangler would be. Oh, right here. Just kidding.
There we go. Okay, great.
That's yeah.
Yep, there we go.
Alright.
Cool. So we see right there we've got one entry for answer, and now we can add one for answer container. Yeah.
Should I do another one?
Mm-hmm.
And do I do like dash container or just the same thing?
It's dash container because that's what we had there.
How much percent?
So I guess we wouldn't be doing the exact same thing as the answers there. What if we? How about this? What if we tried? What if we tried maybe giving a border to our answer container and then giving a background color to the answer that's already the answer rule that's already there.
Mm-hmm.
So who can put in the chat box the CSS rule to create border? It's okay. We can. You can try something like this for a border. There we go. And then go ahead and put a close curly bracket to complete that rule. There we go. Yeah, and then why don't we do a background color there? Yeah.
Okay. Do I just write background color or is there like a
Yeah, is background dash color. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, okay, here we go. So, here's I'm going to post this in the chat box in case you ever can't remember, what CSS rule you want to use. Mozilla has an awesome reference with a pretty exhaustive reference of just about everything you could ever want to know about CSS. And it shows all the different rules. So background color is going to work, and let's you can pick a color, whatever color you want. There are some just like some very basic like color names that'll work, like red, blue, green, yellow, that you can just type the word. If you want a really specific color, you can look online for a tool that helps you find what we call hex values for colors, and then you can that's what you use. You have sort of like a little sort of a 6-digit hexadecimal number that sort of picks a very specific color. But that'll work just fine. Go ahead and put a semicolon at the end just so we're consistent. You don't always have to do that with the very last rule, but we'll do that just to get in the habit of it. Okay, so let's look now at index and see what it looks like in the browser. Great.
Oh wait, I'll just put it up on there.
Okay. Let's see. Doesn't look like we got the doesn't look like we got the colors that we really wanted there. Wonder, is this is the same file?
Yeah, I think so. Let me just try to see.
All
right, let me try one more time. Yeah. Do I open up? So I open up the index.html, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, if we let's see, if we look closer. Actually, I'm not sure how. Yeah, we inspect element and have a look at those. It's let's see. Oh, something was
wrong with this.
Something was red there. So we weren't. Looks like we maybe weren't able to get that JavaScript file. I wonder if there was. See, I wonder if that was a Safari problem, or if there's something wrong with.
Do you want me to open it up in like Firefox or something?
Yeah, it might be easier. I was able to get it on my machine, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
No.
Okay, so yeah, so again, if you open up the developer tools here, yeah, inspect element, that'll work. And if you click the console, let's see. Doesn't it's not really showing. If you click JS, it's not really telling us much. Okay, so again, back to the inspector tab, if you would, on the far left. There you go. And in the head, let's look at the head. Let's see. Did we get that less file from the CDN? Was that because that's it seemed to not be working on the. Scroll down just a little bit. Oh, past it. See that? Let's see the CDN there, the less.min.js. Can we, if you click on that, do we see? Oh, it's actually not showing us whether we got it or not. So, I think. So troubleshooting. I'm gonna troubleshoot here. If have we installed Fiddler on your machine yet?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I guess we're running out of time, so we won't worry about that just yet. Oh, you know what? I bet you know what? Let's inspect the answer there, and let's just make sure that we if you right click on one of those answers and inspect element. Let's just make sure. Let's look at the rules on the right and make sure that that's the issue. We can just scroll down and see if the one where we give it the
oh, here, the color.
Well, there's background, right? So it's getting a background color from Bootstrap. Is that overwriting? If we keep scrolling down, is that overwriting one of our own background color? And actually, it looks like I'll keep scrolling down. Let's see if. Oh, okay. So that's oh, thanks for that link, Daniel. That's pretty cool. Wow, look at that. I think we may be running into. Well, I'm not sure exactly what's happening. We'll next week we'll try getting Fiddler up and running on your machine so we can troubleshoot. I think there may be some issue with running on a Mac when you're not running a web server. I think we did install MAMP, which might alleviate that issue if we ran this on the MAMP server. Although it would be a good.
Do you want me to open it?
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and try that? Okay, now did we have? That's right. Okay, so we got this installed, but I don't know that we ever did we have the trivia site actually running on the server? I'm not sure we did.
We have before. Is it on? Would it be on this? No. I don't.
I
think
right. Okay. Yeah, I think. So there's a particular. So when you click my website, I guess that's taking you to a particular folder on your computer. Mm-hmm. So there's a I think there's probably a setting somewhere in MAMP, and we're going to run out of time to do this today. But there's going to be a setting somewhere in MAMP where you can change what folder that is, so that it can point to our Build It Yourself trivia site. So we'll get to work on that next week. But we gotta start at least a little bit of a start on that CSS code. I know we the hardest part I think about web development sometimes is just getting your development environment up and running. That's sometimes the trickiest part. And then once you get rolling, then you can really start learning new things and getting a lot done. Once you have the setup that we're comfortable with. So thank you, Isla, for sharing your screen. Appreciate that.
Great, Jacob. Great, everyone. Jacob, I just wanted to add your thinking for next week. If we could add a couple of graphics, a Build It Yourself logo in particular to the screen design, and maybe even an animated character that dances around or says something when you get a right or wrong answer. I'll put those images in an email to the team, and maybe you can incorporate them in the overall page layout.
Okay.
Great, guys. I'm really impressed that everyone seems to be following along just fine. These seem to be fairly advanced concepts that you're presenting, Jacob, and I can see that Daniel, David, Isla have no problem following them. Any inputs before we sign off? Any reflections? David, is this working for you? Are you learning stuff you want to learn?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Great. And
Absolutely.
good. I thought your security lesson, Jacob, was valuable. We will use that in the future, I'm sure.
Jacob, quickly, should I
Yeah.
upload the files on GitHub?
Yeah. Great. That's absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we're about to start another webcast. I see Erica has just joined, so
Okay.
looking forward to seeing you guys next week.